Lizzo's album flopping. Now, it's always a terrible thing when a high profile artist has an album that doesn't do pretty well in its first week. When it's not successful, it feels like the whole industry takes a hit, just judging by all of the social media posts, all of the hoopla around something that's very highly anticipated but didn't live up to its potential. It's a terrible thing. But there are some things about Lizzo's latest album not doing too well that we can actually take away from for the near future and, of course, for the entirety of being a creator. I'm going to explain a couple pros and cons of why Lizzo's album flopping can actually help you, and not only you, can actually help Lizzo moving forward in the future. Make sure you like and subscribe, and all the information on how to support my channel is right here at the bottom. I appreciate everybody showing love. Let's just get right into it. Now, Lizzo's latest album titled Bitch. I ain't got to bleep it out. That's the name of the album. It's called Bitch. Her new album is full of different varieties of tracks. People would call this one of those albums full of different flavors and different color of Skittles. That's what you would call it if you're listening to it. But in the first week sales, Lizzo did under 3,000 sales of the album in the first week. Usually an artist of her magnitude will probably average in today's time anywhere between 80 and 140,000 sales, in the first week. She did 3,000. Now, something's wrong here. There's been speculation that the labels is not behind her. Her label is not pushing her the proper way. There's conversations about maybe Lizzo's music is not good enough for this latest album. We'll talk about all of that. The one thing you have to remember is when an album flops, quote unquote, and let's just use the term for lack of a better term. When the album flops, it is a problem for not just the artist, for the producers that's a part of the project, for the A&Rs that was A&R on the project, for the label that's putting on this entire situation, for the musicians, for the writers, everything. It's a bad situation for everybody. Everybody. Now, there's a couple of things that we can take away from a high-profile artist flopping and things that we can look forward to in the near future. Let's start off with the cons. Let's get right into the cons. Now, bad part about album flopping, sales are low, which means money is low. You know what I mean? You're not going to be able to recoup back the amount of money that you spent on marketing. Whether the label decided to promote Lizzo's, album with a high budget or a low budget, with the sales that she has right now, she's not going to be able to recoup anything. Something has to happen like drastic for her to be able to get a boost in sales and a jump in sales to be able to recoup what's going on with her project. Now, when you don't recoup, that means you owe money. You owe money for the creation of the project. You owe money to the people who's marketing the project. You owe money to so many levels that you probably don't even realize yet until they tally it up the way labels tally it up. You know how they go. Then on top of that, when it comes to the money, it's like you make an album at the stage in Lizzo's career. You're making an album for it to be successful, to make money. Your lifestyle depends on it. I'm not saying Lizzo is somebody who's going to spin wild crazy. What I am saying is, if you're a superstar in talent-wise, you want the superstar talent to match a superstar bank account. That's just what it is. If you're a superstar in talent, you want everything to be matched with a superstar bank account. And it's terrible when an album doesn't go the way that you want, because you still have to, within a couple of months or a year or whenever you get back to a new album, it's either you promote the previous album, the previous songs, and try to find a way to rejuvenate the energy of the project, or you have to look forward to working on a brand new album being in the hole. You know what in the hole is. That means you in the red. That means you owe money. So hopefully this new project can help make back some of the old money you owe and put you in the black to where you can actually make money. So that's one con for sure that no artist want to see, but especially a superstar artist, they don't want to be in the red with a flopping album. You know what I'm saying? Also, another con, unsuccessful projects does something to your soul as a creator. It's just what it is. It's not like people are out there trying to make sure you fail or talking to a certain extent to make your album not good. Sometimes it's just when somebody's not gravitating towards the music, when a group of people that usually is enjoying your music doesn't feel it and they feel like it's not a good project, it does something to what you are as a creator. I put my time, I put my effort. Lizzo has spent countless hours. Not only has she spent time on working on music, she spent time on her image. She spent time on getting slimmer. She spent time on her mental health. You're spending time on all these things to not just make you a better artist to make good music, but just to make you a better person to go through a 8 to 12 month album campaign. This is a real thing. I don't think people understand how much it takes for you to record an album, write the album, get it finished, turn it in, excuse me, turning in the album. Also, getting it approved by the label. Because you just can't make records and that's it. And then, oh, these are my 12 records, let's go. Only the finest of elitist of greatest artists can do that. I should make a blog about artists that can drop whatever they want. I might do a blog on that. But let's get back to it. Lizzo did all that work, turned in the album, got the album approved, release a single, release another single, and then the album comes out and it doesn't do well. You know what that does to your spirit? You know what that does to you as a whole, as a creator? I know artists who stop making music after they experience what is called a dud or a flopped album. I've seen that. I've also seen artists get into their bubble, shut down, be in their shell. They don't want to come outside. They don't want to do anything. I've also seen artists that second guess themselves, that second guess the music that they make, that second guess what they're doing as an artist. I've seen that. That's a very, very, it's a process that you have to go through. I think every artist at some point in time, no matter if you're the best artist or you're somebody just on an indie level trying to get by, everybody's experience believing that something will be incredible and then it not living up to the public or the fans' perspective of what's a great project. It's a terrible thing. One last con before I get into the pros. Now, this situation, this type of con with Lizzo's flop album, I feel like is one of those things that you have to really, you got to watch out for this. You got to watch out for this. And at the same time, it's something that you're going to have to power through. You're going to definitely have to power through. Number 3, one of the things people have to realize is understanding that it's not over when you have a flopped album. It's not over. Not just your career. I'm talking about your career. Yeah, career is definitely not over. We're not going off the deep end. We're not flying off the deep end. What I'm saying is, with the project, if the project doesn't do well in the first week, that don't mean that the project is over. That don't mean that the album can no longer do anything fabulous. If you believe in your project, if you believe in what you put together, put out another single. Put out another B-side record. Do a remix to a song. It's not over. That's the one thing that artists have to get past for themselves. They have to get past the concept of believing just because this album didn't get first week sales, that don't mean it won't get sales anymore. I don't know if her second week or third week sales did anything. We'll see as it comes. But still, even then, I've seen artists, and we've all seen artists that came out with a project after the first or second single didn't do well. And then all of a sudden, the third single that you just put out, like, yo, I'm just going to release this because it's a part of my album. And then that record go crazy. It go number one. It goes number one. And now the album is rejuvenated again for it to get the proper sales that it wants. Just because you don't make first week sales does not mean the entire project is over. Especially somebody like Lizzo that we've seen countless times. Sometimes, podcasters, radio personnel, people will judge her record and they may not like it in the beginning, but all of a sudden it develops legs, or they catch something about it that they can use in their DJ sets, and all of a sudden it becomes popular. It becomes popular. So it's not over just because the first week sales are bad. I'll add one more con, because I just thought about this as I'm talking. I'll add one more con, and this is for Lizzo. Lizzo is what they call a radio darling. Now, if you don't know what a radio darling is just like when you hear the term Grammy darling. It means that Lizzo is the type of artist to get a lot of love on radio. Her records are built for radio. The radio programmers, the DJs, radio DJs, they like to play her record. When she drops a new record, they're going to give it a spin. They're going to give it a chance on radio. A lot of artists don't get that. She's considered a radio darling because not only has she been successful on radio, but a bulk of her fame, her fan base that listens to her comes from radio listeners. A lot of her fanship comes from radio listeners. As soon as they hear her on the radio, they love the song. They go buy it on Spotify, Apple Music, and thus far. So by you being a radio darling, that means two things. That means, number one, on the good side of things, if you're a radio darling, that means you get the highest level of visibility when your records come out. That's a great thing. Those are things that labels help you with. You'll get a great amount of visibility. You have more of a greater chance than the average artist on a label. You have more of a greater chance of going platinum, of having a number one Billboard record, of having something that you can look at and say, hey, I did this at the highest level. Records go diamond because of radio. Let's just be clear. Records go diamond because of radio. If you get the radio love and they're spinning your record, anywhere between 50 and 200 times a day on radio, you're going to get to a great status of the record being successful. The bad part about that part of being a radio darling is if the labels are not helping you continue to get on radio, no matter what they do to get that done, if they're not supporting you to get your records to radio, it has an opposite effect on your sales as an artist. It has an opposite effect on your visibility as an artist. It has an opposite effect on what you can be as an elite artist, a part of your career. That's the bad part. So without Lizzo having these songs that are made for radio, without her being on the radio, getting played constantly, it had a negative effect on her album, which is called Bitch. And I hope you guys go stream it. Go listen to it for yourself. It had a negative effect. She's not on radio a lot, so it's hard for people to grasp the records how they usually grasp it when they hear her constantly on the radio. That's a bad thing. It's the reverse for her. So she's going through these motions for these elements of her career that she has to fight through. Now, let's talk about the pros. And I have to talk about the pros because of this reason. Lizzo's situation right now, first off, I appreciate Lizzo for all the greatness she's given us. But I also appreciate Lizzo for this reason. She is living her trials and tribulations in real time. The same way she went through her weight transformation in real time. She also went through, being on tour, having allegations of her not being easy to work with. She lived that in real time and got past that. She went through people talking about her weight and, so many elements of what they didn't like about Lizzo. And she's been past that. She's successfully exceeded past that. This is another obstacle that we're seeing play out in the public. Lizzo, I seen the Instagrams. I seen the TikToks. You going out there posting up posters. You going out there promoting, talking to the people, taking pictures with people, being seen in places that you probably didn't get booked for. You just showed up. I seen what you were doing as far as trying to promote your album on your own because the labels wouldn't do so. I see you, Lizzo. And I want to say, if you ever get this video and watch this video, my message is keep going, because it is not over. It's not over at all. You got so much of your career ahead of you. So much of your career. Now, let's get into the pros. One pro is about this whole situation of what Lizzo is going through is that Lizzo is understanding both sides of how the music industry and the labels can treat you. She got the good side. Radio popping, records going up, tours everywhere, having a good time, fans loving her. Now she's getting the other side. Label don't think you're an elite artist on the label. They might have another artist in mind that they want to put energy and money into. Not getting the streams, the radio plays that you want, not getting the sales you want on your album. You're experiencing what's happening when the labels don't support you. You're getting both sides. The pro part about it is you now get to evaluate how this thing really goes and what can I do to make sure that I stay at the level I need to stay at, regardless of the labels putting any interest and money into me. Now you can be like, the albums that I'm putting together, I'm going to create my own marketing team, even if it's small, to do the things that the labels won't do. Some of the best artists have done this. If my label don't want to drop my album, I'm putting out B-side records and mixtapes. If the label don't want to put money in the radio, I'll get a small team to go push to college radio, internet radio, smaller, radio stations. I'll figure it out. If the labels don't want to put you in the best, spotlights and shows that's on TV or whatnot, go see All the Culture podcasts. Go where you're wanted. Put together a team to pitch you to be on different shows, to do different things. These are the counteracts, just some of the counteracts that you can do now that you understand when they love you, they love you. When they don't love you, they not doing nothing for you. Another pro. It's time to start thinking about independence, Lizzo. It's time to start thinking about being independent. I don't know what your contract is like. Not my business to try to figure out what your contract is like, how many albums you got, things like that. But definitely start thinking about some independence, even if it's not just with your music, even if you're doing other ventures. You might be doing acting. Lizzo, you're beautiful. Do modeling. Whatever it is. I'm not saying that you're not doing it. What I'm saying is do more of it. Because your album shouldn't be your only IP that you rely on for not just money, but for recognition of who you are as a star. We know you make great records. We know you're awesome. We want to see you on that big screen too. We want to see you in a movie. We want to see you in a TV series. We want to see your music in sync. Get a publishing team to pitch your music to sync. And you might know all of this stuff that I'm saying, but I'm saying it on this video because I'm talking to the people who's watching this content. These are ways that you can be able to continue your career, still make music, but also do other things to build your brand, bring it to fruition. Sometimes the music don't work. Sometimes the music don't work. Sometimes, I'm not saying the music got to take a back seat, but sometimes it doesn't work in our favor. So when the music is not really working, the movies is going crazy. And then when the movies is not going too crazy, then your podcast go crazy. Do Lizzo got a podcast? Let me know in the comments. If Lizzo got a podcast, I'm subscribing right now. I would love for Lizzo to do a podcast. Why not? Lizzo got so much to say. Please, Lizzo, do a podcast. What I'm saying is when the music don't work, there are other elements of what Lizzo can do to be elite, to be special, and to really build her brand. And if anybody knows Lizzo, if anybody loves her music, you know she's more than music. She is more than music. She's not just Lizzo, just do records for the rest of your life. No. She could do plays. She could definitely be on some type of sitcom or something hilarious. She's funny. She's enticing. She's beautiful. She's interesting, period. The lady played a flute, for God's sakes. She's dope. So you can see her on so many other platforms. No doubt in my mind. Expand your brand. Take this time to understand that you can expand your brand. Last pro before I get up out of here. Last pro before I get up out of here. And this is more of a personal one, so creators, bear with me. There's nothing like an obstacle of this magnitude to show who you really are. When the stones get thrown at you, you can survive stones getting thrown at you. This time right here, when Lizzo gets past this situation and gets past all of the tabloids, media speaking ill of her, when they get back to loving her, it would be because she survived everything you can possibly throw at her. She survived, trying not to get emotional. She survived everything you can throw at her. I believe that Lizzo's a strong enough person to get through something, in my opinion, is very small compared to where she's going in her career. This is just a small bump in the road. You're going to continue to see Lizzo make great records. You're going to continue to see Lizzo make successful records. You're going to continue to see her brand rise. And you're going to continue to see her be bold, black, beautiful, and powerful. You're going to continue to see that. That's not stopping no time soon. This is just a little bump in the road she got to get over. And I encourage everybody to go listen to her album. Go stream that bitch. I streamed it as well. I actually tried to do a couple of reactions, but of course, you know what I'm saying, copyright strikes. I don't want the copyright strikes to go crazy on me, but I think I will do a reaction video to her album and talk about some of the dopest songs that I like. But 9 times out of 10, human beings like Lizzo can stand these trials and tribulations. She'll power through it and she'll be right back on top. Let me know what y'all think in the comments about this entire blog. I wanted to share this because this is not just a situation that Lizzo is going through. A lot of artists go through that, creators go through it, and there's a lot of new creators that will probably continue to go through it. You know, I just want y'all to be informed that we are listening, we are here, and there are things that you can do to power through these situations. You know what I'm saying? You already know what it is, man. It's the Council Poly Rob. I appreciate y'all listening, and y'all know my slogan, workload.